Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining How to Find a Noni at theLender. So we appreciate your time. This is our third webinar on the Noni, and it will be well worth your time. So thank you so much. My name is Elizabeth Schermerhorn, and you can see Miss Noni working out on the right. I have been in non-QM and the subprime space since the 90s. I've played a key role in building 2 non-QM platforms over the last 4 years, so it's been lots of fun. My love is to help brokers and account executives be successful in selling and funding non-QM loans. So here we go. So how are we going to get your pipeline in shape with Noni? So here she's got some weights, right? So we promised results with this product. We created a product that has a low rate, high LTVs, and very little documentation for your real estate investor. So Noni promises results, right? Just like when we work out, like there's a few things we need you to do. So today will be all about going through tips from Noni, where to find these deals, and how to close them. So if you attend our webinars, you use the Noni Toolbox, and you pay attention to the tips we'll share today, and you're also going to have a super bonus, and that's that you can apply to become a super Noni and get free leads. So what will be the result? You will have larger pipelines. You'll have new referral lead sources to drive business. And I bet you your bank account's going to be in much better shape with these huge commissions and these 14-day closings. So thank you, Noni. Okay, guys, so if you've watched a few other webinars and you know exactly what a Noni is, and by now you've probably funded a few. But for those, I'm going to give you a recap. So what is a Noni? It's a non-owner, no-income loan. Everybody's pitching DSCR on the street, and it just kind of complicates life with how they calculate the DSCR. So Noni keeps it simplified. It's designed for the business purpose 1 to 4 unit commercial loan. We call it a commercial loan because it's a business purpose loan for real estate investors. As of today, I don't have a Noni on commercial assets, so don't get confused. What's beautiful about Noni is there's no income. There's no tax returns. There's no waiting on 4506Ts. You qualify simply off rents either cover your mortgage or they do not. And we make it easy for you, and you will see the tools that we provide as we move through these slides. So with Noni, you either DSCR at 1% or you don't. These are the easiest non-QM loans in the marketplace. They're closing in 15 days or less. The rates are easy to sell because they're in the 5% range. And my question is always, why clog your processing teams with real estate investors on bank statements with multiple bank accounts? Keep it simple. And the rates are probably going to be lower on non-owners on this product than they would on bank statements. All right, so we've got the Noni here. What is it? No pricing adjustments. When have you seen that? Gift funds allowed on non-owners. It's been a long time. 3 credit tiers, simple pricing. Loan amounts to $3.5 million on a non-owner, no income. $2 million cash out. Some people crumble at like $300,000 or $500,000. That's very aggressive for a non-owner, no income loan to have $2 million cash out at high LTVs. We'll go to 80% on purchase rate and term. We'll go as low as 620 scores. Again, guys, no income, even no assets. Finance properties. We have borrowers coming to us with 50 to 100 properties. 3-year seasoning on foreclosures, loan mods, deed in lieu, bankruptcy, housing event, right? Our terms are 5-year and 30-year. Those are some nice long-term versus hard money. We offer soft prepay for the investor that may want to stay fluid and needs to sell that property. We don't require reserves. So no income, no reserves to $3.5 million, and somebody can cash out $2 million. That's beautiful. And we qualify at a 1% DSCR. So are all cash flow programs created equal? I want you to look at where the Noni differs and is so much better than the competition. When your AEs or AEs from different companies walk through the door, they will quote you a rate. What we do here is we empower you with a calculator to know at that time what are the rents and will I qualify for that rate before I go pitch that borrower. a lot of these other competitors will qualify not off start rate, but on fully indexed rate. Their margins are 5 and 6%. So you're qualifying your borrower somewhere in the 7 or 8. They will not DSCR, they will reduce your LTV, and they will have a higher rate or not do the loan at all. So keep that in mind, everybody. So we do qualify off interest only also, which at a 5.75 could help you DSCR on most deals. We will use higher of lease or market rent. So if your borrower can prove that they're renting to some kind of entity that's willing to pay $1,000 more a month, and you can prove that via 2 months canceled checks, we're doing that loan. Again, our max loan amount is $3.5 million. Our competition sits at about $2 million. We have a 10-year IO term. Our competition sits at about 5 years. We offer 30-year fixed. Not everyone does. Some of your investors just don't want to think anymore. They're older. They've got a lot of assets. They want to secure it at that 5.75 to 6.25 for a 30-year fixed. They just want to sit tight. So a 30-year fixed is important. Not everyone offers that. Unleased properties can go to 75 LTV. Our competition cuts you back to 70 and sometimes cannot do the deal at all. A rate sheet that was designed with you in mind. I'm sure you guys get, 20 rate sheets a day with a million different ads and all that great stuff. We wanted to simplify the DSCR with this Noni rate sheet that has one bucket for loan amounts, one bucket for reserves, 3 FICO buckets that give you 3 different rates. That's it. It's that simple. You've got an ad for a 30-year fixed. This pricing is all 3-year pricing, 3-year prepay. So if you need a 1-year hard prepay versus a 3-year hard prepay for the borrower that needs to sell, you've got a quarter ad. There's no ads for units, cash out, condo, a 30-day late, a 5-1 RMIO. There's just no ads. Guys, here's the good news is you can make up to a point with a 50 BIP ad to rate. You can make up to a point lender paid comp. So I want you to keep that in mind. So a lot of people call and say, well, 5.75 is great, but I want to make 2.5 to 3 on the back. So this is what I want to tell you. Noni was created so that we could create a marketplace, so that these real estate investors would buy more properties or do more cash out refis to go out and buy more properties. So if your rates are in the 7s and 8s, because there's that rebate involved, that lender paid comp, then I feel like that deters the whole purpose of Noni. So investors may have paid the old hard money rates in the past because they were buying assets for cents on the dollar when the mortgage industry collapsed. They could do that. So expensive money made sense if the asset was a low price. But with the real estate market thriving, hard money doesn't always make that much sense anymore. I've called a lot of investors lately, and they're just sitting on the sidelines, and Noni says, hey, 5.75 IO, let's go buy some more property. So I wanted you to keep that in mind. I know lender paid comp is important, but let's create a marketplace. Let's get these investors buying again. So here is the tool that we'll provide in the Noni Toolbox, which I'll show you how to find. But what's nice is when you call us and we pre-qual loan, your AE will send you a calculator, or you can go onto our website. And immediately you could enter your information. So if the borrower's got the 680 score, they've got a 5.75 on an ARM, you can enter the rate there, loan amount, you've got to have your taxes and your insurance, but you immediately can see what rents you need. So you'll see that our competition would qualify off a fully indexed rate. So your rents would have to be $5,000 on this $500,000 loan amount. That doesn't happen often. I'm not saying it never does, but it doesn't happen often. Note rate, the rents would have to be $3,500 if you see this small red box under the calculator. The Noni calculates ITIA payment. So you're going to take that rent and divide it by that interest-only payment. So you only need rents of $3,041 and some change on this one. Do you see the difference? So when you get a rate quote from an AE, from a competitor, and it's not the Noni product, make sure that you understand what that rent is and if you DSCR, and what is their DSCR requirement? Is it 1.3? Is it 1.15? So the box on the far left, you enter the rate. If it's an ARM, you get to qualify off interest only with the 5-year. If it's a fixed, you don't get the IO option, meaning your rent has to be higher. Use this tool, guys. It's beautiful. I use it daily. All right, so let's get this party started. So we are going to teach you where to find more Nonis, because I did a little bit in my last webinar. So I decided to interview a few brokers and hear their stories on how they found a Noni borrower. So let's start with the first one. All right, so some of my brokers are posting our white labeled flyer on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram. I suggest you connect with investors and real estate agents. Post that white labeled flyer. Talk to them about purchasing at 575 IO, right? So I wanted to give you this tip. Okay, here's another story on where to find a Noni. So I taught this broker how to Noni probably 30 days ago. And my question to him was, you've had several, where'd you find it? And he basically said, when you taught me about the non-owner, no income, I decided that Noni was going to be my backup plan. So when a non-owner gets declined on my agency side, then I'm gonna, for DTI, which happens often on the non-owners, we've all been there. So in this case, he had a non-owner, traditional full doc cash out 80 LTV loan. He had calculated a DTI in the 40s, and the loan came back declined by the underwriter because the DTI was 60%. Unfortunately, he was wrong. He had quoted a rate of a 5.5 to this client. So he called me, we worked it out, we checked the rents with the calculator. So as you can see, we've got a rate of 575 on the right. We had to cut him back to cash out at 75. I couldn't do 80. And he decided, I can do this. So he called the borrower, and the borrower accepted a 75 LTV cash out. But it was a great counter versus just that phone call. Hey, Houston, we have a problem. I messed up on your debt ratio. You don't have a loan. Hey, Mr. Broker, here's a 6.25 rate. The guy makes 1 point lender paid, credit, and lender paid compensation, and he sells his deal. So where to find Nonis? They're sitting in your pipeline. They could be your declines converted into a funding. So on this deal, I've got a very conservative broker. Been doing business with him for years and years. And he charged a point. So he made $5,000 versus nothing. So there's another way to find a Noni. This broker learned how to Noni, and he remembered that the Noni doesn't require any seasoning. He does a ton of hard money purchases. So he went back and started looking at some of his investors' schedule of real estate. And you can see the LOS system there. Obviously, we can't have addresses. But this guy found 12 loans that range anywhere from 10 to 12 to 14% interest rate. And he can do a rate and term on these. He also found a few recent purchases, and we can do a rate and term, which most would consider a cash out, 1 day out of that purchase. There's another way to find a Noni. So this guy got 12 properties to refinance. Okay, guys, so I wanted to share a little bit about a real estate investor that had to meet a 1031 exchange deadline, and he had to reinvest by June 10th. That loan closed in 3 weeks. It was an $810,000 purchase. It was 4 units, 75 LTV, and it was a 5.75 interest rate. This broker went to a real estate investor meeting. He met some older gentlemen. A lot of those people are reinvesting through 1031 exchanges. I'm really proud to say that we closed that loan in 3 weeks. We met this man's deadline, and this real estate investor called and thanked everybody involved. I don't know how he got my number, but he called and said, "You saved me $300,000. I really didn't believe anybody could close in 3 weeks. It's been a long time." So at a 5.75 rate, he bought a 4-unit property in Sedona, Arizona. Very, very exciting. Another way to find a Noni is we have been marketing quite a bit. Had an old broker call. He very, very interested in the Noni, and we taught him how to do the Noni for foreign investors, for foreign nationals. So he cannot do those loans. So he's giving those leads to another broker, right? So this broker gets instant liens. This lender deals with a lot of foreign nationals, but unfortunately, he can't do those deals, right? He can't do them no income, no asset. We can do foreign nationals with 65% LTV, up to $1 million loan amount. We do require reserves, and we do require trade lines. So please keep that in mind. These are all ways to find a Noni. Okay, what I've been waiting for is how to become a super Noni broker. So this is the best one of all. So we're not just telling you to go find these loans. I just gave you 4 or 5 ideas of different brokers and how they're getting that business. But we're actually going to have you go online and apply at theLender.com, Super Noni, and you can actually put in some information. We have some qualifications that we ask you to meet. We want a broker to fund at least 3 non-QM loans per month to keep their status, okay? And we want to know that you're funding at least $1 million of non-QM business on a monthly basis. So our website is thelender.com, and you can easily go on to register yourself. It asks you for your name, your email, your phone number, and then it'll ask you some questions. But the great thing about becoming a super Noni is that we are going to provide free leads. We're going to have reduced underwriting fees for the Noni. We're reducing that by $200. We are paying for the appraisal. Does that mean we're paying for the appraisal before the loan closes? No. We're going to reimburse it at funding, but that is for loan amounts of $500,000 and over. So please keep that in mind. It can't pay for the entire nation's appraisals, but definitely if your loan amount's over $500,000, we can do that. We will have priority turn times for all Noni loans. So it definitely is to your advantage to apply today, and we will get details to you on how quickly those leads get provided and who we picked to be a super Noni broker. But to maintain that status, guys, remember, you've got to fund 3 non-QM loans per month with the lender. But this is exciting stuff. So I taught you how to find Nonis, and now I'm saying I'm going to provide free leads, free appraisal for you to do these loans. Okay, the Noni Toolbox is a few tools that we have online, and I'm going to show you the Noni landing page, but I want you to keep in mind when you are doing Nonis, although it's a non-owner, no income, just look at the submission checklist. It definitely keeps you safe. The Noni calculator, I showed you how that works. It's an amazing tool. When you do that quote, you know whether you Noni at 1% or you do not. Here is the Noni landing page. Every webinar that we do will be included there. It's got highlights on the program. It's got a flyer that you can download that's a white labeled flyer, so you can post it on social media, or you can print it and go out to your investor meetings or to meet with your realtors. The Noni Toolbox will have a checklist, the calculator, it'll have our matrices, and remember guys, it'll have a information on the matrices when you don't Noni at 1%, because we can still do those loans. It'll have a non-QM submission form. We also do loans in LLCs on the Noni, so you'll have an LLC checklist on there. And when you're vesting in a business entity checklist. And that's at thelender.com/Noni. So I wanted to share a few deals that we funded last month. I told you guys just a little bit ago about the $810,000 purchase, 4 units. This one was $384,000. It was 80 LTV. was a Noni, single family, 5 3/4. The loan closed in 15 days, and the broker made $9,600. Okay, so Noni is a very likable person, and she likes most deals. So the one thing that Noni doesn't like is that a loan gets submitted and it's a primary residence. So please remember, if you're a first-time home buyer or something looks fishy on a deal and it looks like maybe somebody will reside in that home, we don't want to lose our funding source. So please keep that in mind. We will not do non-owner, no income for a primary residence because we breach ability to repay. This loan is business purpose, commercial only. Keep in mind, guys, some house cleaning here. First-time investors, they are allowed with a 5% LTV reduction. They have to have a clean housing history. And remember what a first-time investor means to us is that somebody has owned something in the last 36 months and at least in the last 12-month period. First-time home buyers not allowed, guys, I'm sorry. First-time investors, yes, we reduce 5%. But somebody that doesn't own somebody that's never owned a property, we cannot do. Okay, guys, we went through all the Noni tips. I'm going to go ahead and open up for some questions to see if anybody's got some questions here. And guys, we are hiring account executives, so I want you to know that. If you're inquiring, please contact either Mike McCarthy or myself, and our emails are there. It's McCarthy at theLender or Liz at theLender. And you've got our phone numbers there on the screen. We are looking for good account executives. Okay, guys, I'm just going to give it a few seconds for questions. Okay, and whatever questions, guys, I don't get to, please know I will be responding to them today, so you'll get your answers. We definitely have a webinar website, and we will answer those questions. So one of the questions is, Liz, what if the rents don't meet that mortgage payment? Then where do I price that loan? So you get our rate sheets every day. If you don't, you can call your account executive. We definitely have a rate sheet that is called less than 1%. And it's the matrices for Noni, and then less than 1% is there. I don't have a visual of it for you, but you can ask your AE. Our rate sheets will show pricing for less than 1%. Keep in mind, less than 1% DSCR will definitely have LTV reductions, and sometimes it will not allow somebody that is a first-time home investor. The rates typically will be 6.875 to 7 1/4. Okay, next question is on the prepayment penalty. So they want to understand how the prepay works. So if somebody wants to refi, these loans have a 3-year hard prepay. So there's no getting around that. So if they want to refinance, there's going to be a 3-year prepay. They cannot refi. But we do, if they're going to sell the property, if the investor wants to remain somewhat mobile and is not sure whether he's going to sell or not, that's what that prepayment penalty is for the 1-year the 1-year hard, 2-year soft. All right, I'm just looking through these questions here. Okay, so somebody wants to know if they can have access to these slides. Yes, absolutely. So the webinar gets emailed to you if you're on this call, and it's also on that landing page for Noni. So if you go to thelender.com, you're going to see Noni subtitled up there. Just hit that. It'll take you to the landing page. You'll find Super Noni requirements and all the benefits there too, and all our webinars are there. Okay, So somebody wanted to ask, what, can you go over what we can charge? And can we do LPC and borrower discount? So on the Noni, this is a beautiful product. You can charge up to 5%. Please keep in mind we have an underwriting fee. So that underwriting fee is going to be included in that 5%, okay? So you can, lender paid comp is available. Lender paid credit is available. So let's say your borrower has a 680 score on the Noni and they qualify for the 575 rate. So you can add 50 bits to that 575 for 6.25, and you get 1 point lender paid comp. You can, depending, say you're on a 2.5 comp plan, you can charge, there can be a discount charge to get you to your 2.5 comp plan. So it'd be 1.5 on the discount, 1 for lender paid comp. Looking for any other questions? What do we require for proof of rental income? So we actually ask that if you're ordering the appraisal, that you order a rental survey with that at all times. Okay, so typically we'll take that 1007, but let's say that you have a lease agreement that says that 1007 is higher, then if you can provide 2 months canceled checks, you can show us that that rent is coming in through the bank statements for 2 months and it's higher, I am going to use the higher amount. What's our minimum loan amount is one of the questions. It's $100,000. And the highest is 3.5. Okay, guys, it looks like that's it for questions. And I appreciate your time today. We look forward to closing many, many Nonis and non-QM loans for you. I look forward to seeing all of you get free leads and qualify for Super Noni status. Have a great day and thank you. Bye-bye.